So the Djinn stat block for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, this is what I've done in terms of the changes. I've left the armor class the same. I've put in the maximum hit points. I would recommend using 224 rather than 161. That'll at least give you, I think, 1.5 to 2 rounds when you're dealing with characters that are level 11 and it's a challenge rating 11 monster. The stats for it I haven't really changed. I did add in a saving throw for con at plus 10. I've included skills. I've given it Arcana, History, Nature, and Religion at plus 6. I do believe I've added in damage immunities for Cold and Radiant. It had only Lightning and Thunder, I think, before. I haven't changed the condition immunities. Instead of Dark Vision, it's now got Blind Sight at 120 feet. I've given it Telepathy of 120 feet, not just one language. I've also given it Legendary Resistance once per round and Magic Resistance, so it has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. I've adjusted the spellcasting DC to an 18 rather than a 17, just to make it a little bit better. To hit is exactly the same. The at-will abilities, it's now got, obviously still got Detect Evil and Good. It's got Detect Magic, of course. I've given it Gust of Wind, Prestidigitation, Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, and it had Thunder Wave before anyway. The things you can do 3 times a day each. Create Food and Water was already there, and then obviously you have the chance to do Wine as well. Hallucinatory Terrain is included. I've given it Lightning Bolt, the Ice Storm, had Tongues before, it had Wind Walk, but now it has Wind Wall. Once per day, it's got the Conjure Elemental, Air Elemental only. That's no change. Control Weather I've included. Creation was already there. Gaseous Form was already there. Invisibility was still there. Major Image was already there. And Plane Shift was already there, I'm pretty sure. I've adjusted the multi-attack. So the Scimitar multi-attack, it's still a plus 9 to hit. It could be as high as a plus 10, really. Instead of 4d6 plus 5 slashing damage, it's now 2d6, it's doubled, it's a 4d6. So instead of 2d6, I've pushed the number up. So it's doing a bit more damage to be in line with the monster. And its lightning or thunder damage is doubled as well. Create Whirlwind is now on a recharge of 4, 5, or 6. I've made it a 10-foot radius rather than a 5-foot radius. The cylinder height is still the same, and the range is still the same. But the difference is that the DC still is an 18 strength saving throw, but on a failure, you're going to take 15 points average bludgeoning damage, which is 3d8 plus 2, and be flung 20 feet, and you're going to wind up prone. Okay? If you succeed on the save, you take half damage, don't get flung, and don't wind up prone. I've given it legendary actions so that it can take a legendary action at the end of every player's turn. And I've included all the standard actions as options: dash, dodge, grapple, help, search, shove, use an object. I've given it its basic attack with the scimitar as an option for legendary actions, and it can cast a spell. And I haven't limited what level the spell can be. It also has the option to use Chain Lightning once per round as a legendary action, and it's literally worded exactly the same as the Chain Lightning spell. So it hasn't got a lot else going on with it. I think that should work reasonably well with a Djinn. I'm just going to go and check the lore rather than just the Dungeons & Dragons older versions of the Djinn. I'm going to check the lore and see if the lightning aspect is still sort of sitting in with it or not. And if it's not, then maybe I'll adjust it. But I'll put this all up onto Patreon